If you have visited any hill station some years back, it would have looked much beautiful and peaceful than the way it looks today, isn't it? But now the conditions have changed. Environment that was clean and green has now become polluted. We all know this, but we hardly pay any attention to it. Have you ever thought what happens to the waste that we throw in the environment? Well, it would depend on the composition of waste material. If the waste materials are biodegradable, they will easily degrade with time. But if the waste materials are non-biodegradable, they would remain in the environment and pollute it. Unfortunately, most of the wastes we produce today remain in the environment for long. Let us now understand what actually environment is. Environment is simply the surrounding in which living organisms dwell. It comprises of both living and non-living components. Now let us understand what are living and non-living components of environment. Well, it is very easy to understand. When you go into the forest like this, what do you see? You may see deer, butterfly, squirrel, various plants and trees. These are the living components of the environment. Can you also identify non-living components? Yes, you guessed it right. Rocks, wind, soil, sunlight and water are the non-living components of the environment. But have you ever thought how these living and non-living things interact with each other and what these interactions are called? All organisms such as plants, animals, microorganisms and human beings as well as the physical surroundings interact with each other and maintain a balance in nature. These interactions form an ecosystem. In simple language, we can say that it is all about managing life within the surroundings and interacting with each other. Ecosystem can be as big as a earth or as small as a drop of water. Now let us know about the two basic components of an ecosystem. These are biotic component and abiotic component. Biotic components refer to all the living organisms affecting an ecosystem. It includes plants, animals and microorganisms. Abiotic components refer to the non-living factors which affect living organisms such as weather, soil, land, mineral, etc. So if you will visit any forest, you find shrubs, trees, animals, rock, pond, etc. All living things interact among each other, and all their activities are affected by the non-living components. Can you name some of the natural ecosystem? Let's understand the natural ecosystem. As the name suggests, natural ecosystem comprises of all the living and non-living things that occur naturally on the earth. It includes forests, ponds, lakes, etc. Now try and answer some of the artificial ecosystems. Yes, you are correct. Artificial ecosystem comprises of all those things that are created by man. Can you give an example of artificial ecosystem? Well, when you look around, there are many examples of artificial ecosystems, like crop field, parks, etc. But the most simple one is the one that you will find in your room, that is, an aquarium. Ecosystem can also be classified on the basis of time span. For example, temporary ecosystem and permanent ecosystem. As the name suggests, a temporary ecosystem develops for a short period of time. The aquarium in your room, pond which fills after fresh rainfall, and the culture which you grow in the lab are examples of temporary ecosystem. A permanent ecosystem develops in a very long time period. Can you give some examples of permanent ecosystems? The desert, the ocean, or the lake we see are the examples of permanent ecosystems. Hence, ecosystem is a complex system composed of the balanced amount of living organisms and non-living things, which show variation due to many naturally occurring phenomena. But it has a very delicate balance. Even the slightest imbalance can upset the whole system. So, for the conservation of an ecosystem, it is important to note that they function best when left alone.
Natural environment, forest. This is the example of natural ecosystem, where we are able to find trees, grass, herbs, shrubs, insects, animals and microbes naturally with all the necessary abiotic components.
An ecosystem is balanced when living components, example animals, plants, and non-living components are in harmony. The ecosystem which is formed by human modification or by alteration in the natural environment is called an artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystems are created to mimic the natural ecosystems. An aquarium is an example of artificial ecosystem. For making an aquarium at home, we need a glass tank with dimensions about 3 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. The tank should have a detachable cover so that one can reach inside the aquarium to clean the glass sides and also to feed the fish. Add sand and gravel at the bottom of the tank. Now, plant the aquatic plants in the sand and slowly pour water into the tank to fill 2/3 of it. Fix the air pump in the tank in such a way that it is completely submerged. The purpose of an air pump is to aerate the water and to increase the dissolved oxygen so that fish can breathe. Now carefully add 3 to 4 small aquarium fish into the water with the help of fish net. Cover the tank properly with the lid. Now, connect the air pump with the electric supply. The biotic components like fish, fungal plants, etc. and abiotic components like sand, water, etc. in this man-made ecosystem interact closely with each other. Any change in one component significantly affects the other biotic or abiotic components. The Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta is an example of the world's largest aquarium.